Life is what we find ourselves having, and we just live with it, no matter how good or bad it is. Today, we bring you a story of a man who decided to get a life far away from people because they keep calling him a camel. He is called Jean-Baptiste. He says he is 42 years old. Upon greeting him, he replies that he is not at all fine because he is very sick. Jean-Baptiste lives here, a place with no close neighborhood, a bit far from where other people live. According to this observation, he is living in a very poor and low life. According to him, he never gets close to people anymore because they bully him and call him names. But at most times, kids say that he looks like a camel, which hurts him and annoys him very much. He was not at all born like this. He says that he was born a normal person, but a lot of illnesses started coming up, one after another, in a way that he didn't know. And up to date, he totally has no idea of what brought about such diseases in his life. However, he never witnessed this, because by the time such diseases started affecting him, he was still a young boy, and all that he knows was told to him by his father, because his mother died when he was just 3 years old. Unfortunately, they lived in a very poor life, to the extent that he was not able to go to the hospital at any one time during his childhood. Apart from having a curved spine, Jean-Baptiste also has an infected kidney, a heart problem, which decreases his chances of waking up the next day, like he says. It all started when his 4-year-old sister noticed that his head was becoming bigger in an abnormal way, and since he was a 3-year-old boy, it is so difficult for him to remember how he felt like at that moment. There were 3 children at home when his mother died, a 2-month-old baby who was the youngest, and a 4-year-old sister who was the oldest. His father was confused of how he was going to live with these babies, and yet he was poor, and it was their mother that had a job. And this made his father puzzled, so he was too busy with all these. And according to him, that's more of the reason why he wasn't taken to the hospital. Since then, he has been breathing in a very abnormal and tiresome way, which makes his body too painful. And this means he has never experienced a normal life since then. And all he knows is pain and having a tiresome body. When he grew up, he kept living in this kind of life, and since he had started getting used to living in such pain, he had to accept it and learn to live with it. And since he was poor, he spent a long time without visiting any hospital so as to get any kind of checkup or treatment, because he could not afford any. He has never gone to school because it always required to walk there, which he could not manage, and there was no way he could concentrate in class because of the pain he was going through, and he was also scared of his fellow students bullying him. He has spent most of his life living in this old house, and when he comes out, he sits on its verandas and cannot go anywhere far because he cannot walk long distances. since he is ever experiencing unspeakable pain. Jean-Baptiste does not eat any kind of food, which requires a lot of energy while chewing, and he only eats food like rice because his entire body is so weak that even chewing makes it tiresome. He spends most of his time lying on his mattress, though he hardly sleeps because of the pain that he is going through, and the only way he sleeps is when his body is extremely tired. He does not have a job, and he has never known one in his life. The only way he gets food is when some good Samaritans and relatives give it to him, which is not also something they do every day, which means this man spends some days without eating. At 42, Jean-Baptiste has never been in any relationship, and according to him, love is something that he only hears in stories, and the only love he knows is for his family and nothing more than that. He does not have a wife or any child. He lives here alone, and he never wishes to get social at all, because when he tries to, people end up bullying him. And this is one of the reasons that this man does not even want to ever own a cell phone in his life. Recently, he went to the hospital, and that is when he was told that his heart and kidney were a lot damaged and might not be able to support his body for a very long time. With less energy, Jean-Baptiste tries to do every kind of housework, like washing dishes, cooking for himself, and a lot more, because he does not have anyone to do such things for him. Before the coronavirus pandemic started, this man used to go to churches and beg for some coins, and Christians would give him some food and money, and that's how he was able to manage his life. But ever since then, it has been so hard for him to ever get anything to eat. There is an old lady that lives next door who feels sympathy for this man, and sometimes she comes and gives him food, and she always tries to convince him that not all people are bad. But Jean-Baptiste has never bought this, and he hardly trusts anyone. He rarely gets help from family, since his sister that was older than him died, and she was the one who took care of him most times. His young brother got married, has a wife and kids now, and it's almost hard for him to ever send anything, since he's also poor. When he gets a lot bored, he turns on the radio, and it is the only thing that at least keeps him entertained in one way or another. Jean-Baptiste does not have shoes or a lot of clothes, because the way he looks is the way he always is, and changing clothes is something that he has not known for a very long time. He has never known a joyful life, and he does not at all have hope of ever becoming a father. He is scared of starting up a family because he thinks that no girl would ever accept an old, poor, and disabled man like him. His father is now 80 years old, but he tries and sends food for his 42-year-old son, no matter what Jean-Baptiste is going through. The house that this man lives in is the one that his family lived in ever since he was born. But since they all knew that Jean-Baptiste could hardly do anything for himself, they let him keep it and they all went to look for a life elsewhere. Even when he gets food, he eats it poorly cooked, and according to him, just helps him to live, but it is not healthy at all. All that he is requesting for is to get advanced treatment and food to feed on until he dies, because it is all that he is looking at right now. It is very good to give a hand when we still can. Thank you for watching Afrimax English. This is Prince. Do not forget to subscribe.